and welcome to my channel. My name is Jenny, and this is Creating Crafts with Jenny. And um, here's an interesting thing. As you guys know, I do paint by number, and I do diamond painting, and I do paint pours. And so I got thinking, I see this question come up quite a bit on paint by number, is how to get started on paint by number. And kind of got me thinking about paint pours. And although I could go into how to get started on paint by numbers in this video, but I'm not going to. But I was thinking about paint pours and how to kind of get started in that, if that's something that you have an interest in. So this is kind of like a show and tell. Do you remember those show and tells in school? I hated those things, and you guys probably did too. Most likely, or current events. I mean, like night before, it's like, Dad, I have a current event. Grab the newspaper, right? Yeah. So, the other day, we have a BJ's wholesale, kind of like a Costco or I was going to say Cubs food. Do you remember those? Like Sam's Club, that sort of thing. That sort of market. And so they had some acrylic paints. So I grabbed a set. There's, I think, there's 16 colors here. I was going to say 24. There's 16 colors here. And they're kind of your basic colors. Now, the interesting thing with basic colors is you can mix colors to make colors. So always keep that in mind if you're trying to get to a color. Now, you can also make mud colors, but we won't go there in this video. But the cool thing about paint pours is you're either painting through something or you're dumping something. That's where the concept of paint pours came from. You're pouring through something, and chances are you have a lot of these things in your house. I would say a lot of these things come from like the kitchen area over into the painting area. Now, I would say once you bring them into the painting area, I wouldn't take them back into the kitchen. I just wouldn't. But so many of the things that are, I would say, like in the cooking realm, are kind of like in the painting realm. And I would say majority of what you're going to do when you get started is practice. And a lot of this stuff is, a lot of it's reusable, other than like your paper cups, even down to your canvas. And for the longest time, I was getting canvases and they were just stacking up and stacking up and stacking up. And unless I am doing a canvas for a customer and the customer has picked out the colors and we know exactly what the customer wants and where we're going with that, usually by the time I film, I photograph and that sort of thing, a lot of times I'll scrape the paint off and either usually trash the paint or I'll put it in a bottle and that sort of thing and reuse it in some other avenue or different filming capabilities, that sort of thing. Because what was happening was I was getting stacks, and I'm looking because I still have stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of canvases. And I wasn't in a position to, and I did take a few of my canvases to you know, like not craft stores, but a craft market, and tried to sell them and that sort of thing. And people were there just to eat the food and that sort of thing. We've talked about that before. And it just wasn't something that I seen a big market for. And there's a market out there, but sometimes it's kind of hard to find it. I think I was lowballing my prices on them. I think instead of putting like $25, I should have put $125. You know, that sort of thing. I know that's sounds kind of weird, but it's a supply and demand sort of thing. So, you know, I probably should have put 5 paintings out with a big dollar amount and see how that would have gone in the market, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's a marketing strategy thing. But having said all that, a lot of times you can, like I said, if you're wanting to just practice and see where you go with it, and you're just wanting to experiment, it's always good to have your basic colors, like a big thing of black and a big thing of white is a good place to start, because you're going to use these colors a lot. And then some basic colors like what I have down here. I would, like I said, this one's a small one. I would do like 24 or 36 colors. You can make little paint pour things. These are glued together, easy peasy to make. These are napkin rings. You just throw them down and pour on them. Measuring cups are a lot of fun to pour in and out of, that sort of thing. Water bottles, you've seen me cut the bottoms of these off and pour over the top of them. The little bottles are fun to fill up with different layers of paints, and then you can pour them. I love the little bottles. You can do a lot with these. And there it goes. Squeeze bottles are a lot of fun too. You can put excess paints in these, and you can draw and do some fun things with that. Your paint cups, you can do a ton of things, a lot of mixing with these, especially if you use your paint mediums with your paint, your Pled. Always make sure you give it a good shake. Smell it. If it smells funny, it's gone bad. Usually takes a couple years for it to go bad, but it can. A lot of cups. These are wonderful for the smaller ones. And I also brought a frame out here. These are fun to, well, not so much that one, pour onto for cute little designs and that sort of thing. It was just hanging around, so I just, like I said, a lot of this stuff you probably already have in your house. So yeah, I just thought I'd show some of this stuff. So there you have it. I always keep Sharpies next to me, because I always, usually black Sharpie. Is that a black one? Nope. They're colorful Sharpies. Sharpies nearby to write on. And also when I paint pour, I use something to catch the paint so that it doesn't go over the edge. And I try to make sure that my canvas is smaller than what I'm painting on, so I don't make a mess. Gloves are always good to have, so I have a box of gloves. And I usually paint in short sleeves. I do have smocks, or the things to wear also. And the blow dryers over there also. So there's that. And so I just wanted to kind of do a show and tell of different things that you can use to kind of get the concept of paint pours started. So this is kind of like what you need to kind of get it going, and it doesn't take much to get yourself started. But yeah, this is where you start, and I wish you the best of luck in your paint pours, and enjoy them. And I will be back shortly to do a paint pour. I'll probably do one right here with some of these. So all right, so I'm going to get off here and spend some time with the family. And what do I always tell you guys? Go out there. Be absolutely awesome. Do your thing, and I'll see you in my next video. Talk to you soon. Bye.